Hello, this is Katie O'Regan with Featured Friday Filmmakers. Today I'm here with Rich Henkels. He's a really cool guy. Should be a fun conversation. Rich is an actor. He's a filmmaker, a model, and a general overall kind of a cool guy. With a spiritual sort of bent, I feel like. Hi, Rich. How are you today?
I'm wonderful, Katie. I'm great. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Rich was in won an award at the Star City Film Festival for Best Documentary. Do you want to tell us the name about a little bit about your documentary before we get started?
Yeah, sure. It was called The Camino de Santiago, The Pilgrims Speak. And what it was the Camino de Santiago is a pilgrimage across Spain. And I did the pilgrimage and I filmed it with myself. It was a one-man band job. And
Mhm.
I just visited with the other pilgrims. And that's why it's called The Pilgrims Speak. And it was my first pilgrimage. I've since done another. And another film is upcoming as well. And but it's a magical journey, and just talking to people from around the world about their experience, it's pretty spectacular. In fact, very rarely do I not get goosebumps when I talk about the Camino de Santiago because it's come to mean so much to me, Katie, that I will confess I got a tattoo of
You got a tattoo from that?
the
No,
Camino
you didn't.
logo
Oh,
right here on this shoulder.
nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Mhm.
Well, we won't ask you to show your tattoo today, but I want to see the tattoo because I think you should show it off in the next film, you
Next,
know?
yeah. Well, the next Camino film I do, I will
Oh,
definitely
you
show.
do show it off. Okay. In
Mhm.
fact, I just got something. I think it should be the poster. You can have your arm like this, and it could be like the poster.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying that's a good idea.
That's a very good idea. This is why I do these things.
You're welcome.
Hmm?
You're welcome. You're welcome, honey.
Thank you.
Whenever you need something.
I
No, I
appreciate
think I just flashed it. We're having a spiritual moment.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and your first documentary is 30 minutes. And
32.
then 32 minutes. It's fabulous. And for those people who don't know much about El Camino, just give them a little commercial about what it is, the journey that people take.
Well, the Camino de Santiago has been, it's a pilgrimage that traces the footsteps of St. James. St. James,
Hmm.
obviously from Jerusalem when Christ passed, to Rome, and then ultimately all the way to Santiago, proselytizing and evangelizing.
Hmm.
He actually walked the same path, legend has it, as Mary, as Jesus' mother Mary at some point. And
Hmm.
so the bones of St. James are in the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela. And so pilgrims go from all, by the way, of all walks, all creeds, make the trek all the way to Santiago to the
Hmm.
cathedral there. And it's a mission of peace. It's a mission of spiritual enlightenment. It's a mission of religious freedom. And people do it for all sorts of reasons. I mean, Spain is a beautiful place, and the Pyrenees, where it begins, is spectacular in southern France. But
Hmm.
you don't have to do all 800 kilometers. A lot of people do 100 kilometers, get a taste of it. And then I did 100 kilometers, and then I went back and did 300 plus kilometers last year, which took about 12, 14 days. And
Hmm.
but I met people from across the globe, and I just feel blessed. It's easily the most wonderful and sacred thing I've ever done in my life, short of having kids. And I believe in it to the heart, and I believe anybody would get value out of it, whether it's religious or spiritual or otherwise. It is a way to find your center, and
Hmm.
the challenge is you get back to the world as we know it, and it's so easy to lose your center that it makes you realize what you do have deep inside, and it's a beautiful experience.
Thank you. I really wanted to hear you talk about that again. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. I want to do that someday.
You
Not in the
should,
next year. Yeah, I would like to do that.
you absolutely should.
And that's why I loved your movie. And I feel like a lot of people in our world now are thirsting for some spiritual inner guidance. And being in the entertainment world, as you are and as I am, it doesn't feel that way for most of the things we audition for or and talk about. And so I'm just hoping we get back or come. I'm not going to say get back because I don't know that we ever were spiritually based in the entertainment world, but hopefully some things will come out of the what's going on in Hollywood with all the fires, and
Yeah.
there's times are a changing.
Well, you bring up a really good point, and just this morning, I was having a conversation with one of my sisters, and I have a very very large family, which is a
Mhm.
completely different story entirely. But one of my sisters, I was talking about some things I'm trying to navigate my way through in my life, and she brought up a very good point. She goes, "Well, as an actor, what you do is really all about you." And I said, it appears that way.
Yeah,
I
but
can
it's not.
that to the actor, it's not. I just got done shooting a short film in which I play a gentleman who died in a car wreck and comes back in a dream sequence
Mm.
to his former wife, who is suffering from a traumatic brain injury, TBI, and it was a very strenuous couple of days on set. But my point is this: is that the film was it's a cautionary tale, and
Yeah,
also deeply, deeply emotional. And the goal of a filmmaker, any filmmaker, is to not just entertain, but inform and enable people to understand what's going on inside, and and maybe look inside to themselves. So yes, it appears from the outsider to be a selfish pursuit. Oh, he's an actor; he just wants to get great
yeah,
roles. I
yeah,
understand, but I want people to always know, and I discovered this, by the way. So by becoming an actor, that it's much much more than just serving myself. You really do want to play a role so fully that everybody walking out after seeing it goes, "I understand that character," and
right.
then they start to understand themselves, perhaps, or someone in their lives.
Hmm. I love how passionate you are about talking about acting. I know you came to it later in life, but it's definitely your soul job, your soul mission. It's cool to see people transform and find the arts and just go all in, and that's what you're doing. I know you run Blue Bloods. We were talking about that earlier, and that was you had tell us the story about how you got on, or your dream about being on Blue Bloods.
Yeah, I've said to many people, anybody who'll listen, that I feel like I manifested that role, and it's kind of a bit of a stretch, but I think there's some truth to it because we're told as actors that you manifest, you have to think about the role that you want, and the universe will conspire to get it. Anybody who doesn't believe that, read the Desderata. I don't know if you're familiar with the
I
Desderata,
am, yeah.
and it's a really great way to live your life. But
Hmm.
so what I years ago, 8 years ago, I got into acting. Left corporate America, got into acting, and among the things that I set as a goal was I watched Blue Bloods, and which is a great TV show, and it's now run its course, 14 seasons, and I of all the roles that I didn't see out there but would be a good one was Aaron Reagan, the assistant DA's love interest, and Aaron Reagan is played by Bridget Moynihan. And I just
Hmm.
thought to myself, now Bridget Moynihan's a beautiful woman. There's no question, and an incredibly talented actress.
Yeah.
And while that was all good, I saw myself and how I carry myself is I would be a really good love interest for Bridget Moynihan.
Right.
I just did, and so
Hmm.
I said to myself, that's the kind of thing I do. So all of my headshots had me looking like a high end lawyer or a high end CEO or somebody that would be pitted against or with the DA, associate DA of New York City. And so in the end, I did book a role. Now I auditioned like a dozen times over the years, but I did book a role, but not
Hmm.
as her love interest. It was as a criminal, a horse trainer who was
Hmm.
poisoning horses and drugging them in order to win races that he probably shouldn't have won. And in the end, she was trying to put me in jail, and she succeeded at the end of the episode. And I had a one-on-one scene with her, which was
Right.
wonderful. And she's a complete and total pro. I don't think she'd recognize me if she saw me on the street right now, but she was the utter pro. She came in, did her scene. We did 16, 17 takes from multiple angles to get it right. And when the day was done, I went over to her car, and my handler knocked on the window, and she rolled it down, and she said yes. And I said, I just wanted Aaron. And Aaron, I said, Bridget, I just wanted.
Yeah.
It was a great day and wonderful to work with you. Congratulations on the series, and best wishes. And it really was a pleasure. And she said, well, thank you very very much. And
That's a cool story. I love that story about manifesting. That's beautiful. That's cool. And Blue Bloods was always one of my favorites because Frank Reagan, the father, right, is my father's Frank O'Regan. So,
that's right. That's right.
right.
I didn't think about that. That's
You
right.
didn't think about that, did you?
No, I did
He's
not.
Francis, but there's he's Francis O'Regan, and and I said, well, Blue Bloods had to go off because my daddy died. So he was the inspiration behind all of Frank
I,
Reagan, which he's
I was, now that I know, it all makes total sense.
doesn't it?
You manifested my role, not me.
There you go. I was the whisperer behind the scenes.
Don't
Yeah,
whisper. It
there you
didn't.
go. That's me, the ghost whisperer. So those are cool stories. So you were in New York yesterday auditioning
Yep.
for a role, for a bad guy role.
Another. Well, I don't know if he was completely bad, but they described me as a scumbag lawyer,
Oh
and
yeah,
there were two
scumbag rose.
a horror film, and I've never been in a horror film, and
I've never been in a horror film either, and I'm not really interested to be in a horror film. There's too many horror films, Rich.
there are
What?
a ton of horror films.
What is up with this? I
You
mean, my good Lord. I mean, they're the most streaming. Not to take away from your audition, I hope you get it. Because it's always good to get work as an actor. But I don't. You know, you're not a horror film kind of guy, really.
Well, you don't know what you are until you're in a situation, and then all of a sudden you learn it. You find out. I mean, you don't know you're a single dad until suddenly you get divorced. You don't know that
Yeah.
you're unemployed until you get fired. You don't know that whatever. There's just so many things in life that are unknowns, and
Yeah, that's true. You don't know you're a horror film star until you get the part. And you
exactly.
know what? As soon as I said that, I'm going to take back my words because not all horror films are bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some great horror films. As a director of Star City Film Festival, I see lots of short horror films. And some of them are just really artfully very great. And I put them in the festival. I just don't, I just think, isn't the world scary enough without having to watch horror? I don't know.
It might be the distraction that they're after.
Maybe.
People are going to watch this kind of disturbing content anyway. Maybe I should get something that's really off the wall. As they say, truth is scarier than fiction, right?
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
like funny horror films. Like if it's funny, that's great. That's to me very artful.
yeah,
Let me that's I think that's a really hard um that's big magic dust to put those two together. But
uh,
when it happens, it's really fun. So I would do that.
yeah.
I would play a comedic person in a horror film.
I haven't seen the whole script. That was the funny part. Me and two or three other actors were sitting in the room waiting to audition, and nobody's seen the whole script. Of course, we've only
Because
seen.
it's not done yet, because it's a horror film,
Uh,
probably.
no, it's fully written because
Oh, really?
and I said, "Is it fully written?" And they said, "Yeah, yeah, we're." And I said, "Is it fully funded?" And they said, "Yes." I said, good for you,
But
congratulations."
Rich, the thing about a script, a film script, is not, you know, most DPs say the script is a suggestion for the film because the director has the final say on the script. So I've seen most scripts come into a director and they there's no scripts that ever are word for word or sometimes even close. And from a writer's, unless you're the writer and the director, right? But then even then, the actor brings so much into it. You change the words. If it's a great film, you change the words. I
Mhm.
did it with my film.
Yeah,
I changed almost the whole thing.
it's not the script; it's the story. And
Yes,
now,
that's
mind
right.
you, when you're auditioning and they say, "Please be word perfect," and you
Yeah,
do your,
that's different. Yeah.
but when they say, "We want to see what you bring to the role," and actually, I auditioned and booked another role in another TV show for CBS, and I
Good.
played very different, and they told me, they said that's why I booked it, because I did play differently. And
You did. Oh, good.
yeah,
Because you improvised. You brought a different
yeah, I
kind
just
of.
I did it the way that I would have done it, given my background and given what I know,
Mhm.
the situation that they were trying to present, and that's what actors. I don't know. I mean, I always laugh that, to be interviewed as an actor to me, because I'm really so new to the game, but I feel like most actors just have to bring their life experience and their sensitivity
Right,
to it. And it's the story, not the line, that matters. Now, getting the line down is important because the writer has a purpose with every word. But
right.
yeah.
That's right. But as an actor, yeah, you have to come in with the lines memorized. But when the director says, "Bring me something," like you just said, I think this is so important. People don't know it if you're not in the business. They don't know that's how it works often in independent films. Uh, it doesn't work that way in a play. I'll tell you that. I've been in
No,
the theater my whole life. You come in with your lines memorized, and you
yeah,
don't improvise on stage.
and there's
Very, very different thing.
50 moving parts and there's no cut. Take two.
No,
It's live. Yeah. Yeah.
live, baby. Right. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about it too.
Yeah.
I love both mediums. They're so completely different.
I don't do any theater.
Yeah,
It,
you told me that.
yeah, it's just I'm not sure why, but I can just say that it's just not something I'm pulled toward, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it's not, you can audition as an actor, as a professional, like you came into the game and get booked. But theater, unless you've done it for probably a long time, unless you go to um, live in New York, I mean, it takes most theater people a long time to break into the business.
yes.
But it's a lovely thing. I'll always do it. It's a fun, fun thing to have a live audience.
I
Definitely.
totally agree with that. Yep,
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. Been in front of live audiences many times.
Yeah, right? As a
Hmm.
comedian? Were you in front of as a speaker or what?
I was in TV news for a while,
Oh,
and
that's right. You're a TV guy.
yeah, so
You're a TV news guy.
I hosted telethons and I hosted live events, and even to this day I do some charity work that where
Yeah.
I'm a host of events, and I love doing it. I mean, you connecting with
Yeah.
people and seeing them, and not looking at a camera but looking at real people. I love that, and
Fun, isn't it?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, someday maybe I would get into theater if I moved somewhere away from where I am, which is a secluded suburb of Philadelphia. Um,
Right.
I might.
Right.
Yeah, who knows? That's the beauty of it. It
You would like it. I bet you'd love theater because what you just described. I bet you'd love it. There's nothing like the thrill of having your lines memorized and having this audience there, and it's high stakes when you're on the stage. So
Yes.
it's a game. It's a game, and you have to give everything to the audience, and the audience is part of your story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
it's pretty exciting. I think I'm going to go back to I'm doing a one woman show. I was going to do it this year, but there's too much stuff going on, and I got sick, and so I didn't want to get up on stage and sing sick. That wouldn't be good for the audience or for me. So anyway, that's exciting. So I think you should come and be a part of the Star City Film Festival this year. I haven't picked a spot for it yet. Who
okay.
knows where it's going to be? I change it every year.
I noticed that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I change it every year. And this year, who knows? It might be in New York City. I was
Oh,
going to have it in Los Angeles this year, but I'm not going to because of our tragedy that happened there. And I want to shout out to all my friends, and it's just been devastating because as you know, I was there all of last year,
mhm.
and it's strange. I wasn't going to leave, but I'm in Iowa right now. I have a home in Iowa, and I had a
Mhm.
bunch of things because of my father died that I came back to take care of with my family. But I would have been there, and along with everyone in the terror that's going on.
It's just unbelievable. As we sit
It's
here today recording.
it's
Yeah.
it's just it's never going to be the same. I know, and Los Angeles will come back, of course, and of course it will. God has a bigger plan. We don't know what that plan is.
Mhm.
Um, but right now, the air quality everywhere. I mean, the air is everywhere. It's just because it's in, Altadena is burned to the ground. I know people that live there
Mhm.
lost their whole house.
Yeah.
And so, we here we stand, and talk about not knowing what's going to happen next. And this is and all the strange conspiracy theories that people are spouting are nonsense. I mean, this is a natural disaster, of course. And then you get some crazy people who are starting fires after that, because there's always going to be a percentage of crazy people in the world who have
Hmm.
nothing but bad to do. But this was a natural disaster. The winds have never been like this.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know what to say about it. It's just heartbreaking. I feel so, I mean, people's lives are ruined. Many, many people's, and will never come back. I was just talking to some people because I work in real estate along with film and theater and have my whole adult life. And I just sat for my real estate license for California, and I was really excited to start it there. And the poor people in so many business, especially in real estate, where there's no backup, you're your own business when you're a real estate person. They just lost their whole livelihoods.
Yeah. I,
And
I don't know what people, I mean, so many people are not even in a position to pick up. There's no bootstrapping because they don't know where to begin.
no,
You know,
right,
you ask
right,
yourself, I mean, how were they financially? Did they have homeowners insurance, and
right.
whether or not any of that stuff's going to get covered? It's like flood
Yeah,
insurance in Florida. You can't get it.
you can't get it. Right. I was just talking to my friend Trisha about that. You can't get flood insurance in Florida. Well, I don't know. I wish I had the solutions. All I know is that my I'm just praying that everyone has a journey that they can walk on to get them out of wherever they are.
Hmm. Absolutely, yeah, and people to lean on. You know,
Right.
I mean, if there's anything, I don't know.
People to lean on. Right.
If you
Yeah.
don't have that is another conversation I was having with my sister this morning, and I have a lot of conversations with multiple family members. We're all very very close. Uh,
Hmm.
I was talking about the fact that I'm an extrovert, and I
Hmm.
I know two things. One, I love people, but two, I
Yeah.
hate people. I can't live solitary. And
Mhm.
imagine yourself being in LA and not having family or people to fall back on,
Yeah.
or any of those
Right.
things. And there's plenty of people like that out there. That
Oh, there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people who moved to LA to be in the business. You know, I did that. I was there. I moved there by myself with my little corgi. Now, did I know people there? Yeah, but I didn't have my family there. And I was devastated. I will tell you when I moved there. The number of homeless people, you don't see it on the news. People don't understand the number of homeless people and that are walked over. They're just walked over. And every day it bothered me. And I lived in a beautiful neighborhood.
yeah.
But every day it bothered me. I woke up being bothered that there's homeless people outside. There's, there's $500 million homes up in the hills, and there's homeless people being
Mhm.
walked on. And it's just tragic. And no one decided, oh, this is a good idea. Let's make the economy so there's homeless people and then billionaires. No one person that I know of decided that.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens in the future because something has to change.
Well, something will change. I mean, something will change next week, following month, a year from now. I mean,
Yeah.
if anything, we all know that things change. That the challenge is this as an individual, and this is actually a spiritual thing as opposed to a political thing or anything else.
Hmm.
Things
Which
change.
I bend more on. I don't even like politics. I mean, I'd rather talk about spiritual. So go ahead, please.
But
Didn't
what
mean
I
to interrupt
say
you.
is that things do change. It's whether or not you acknowledge it or recognize it. That goes for everything. And I actually am spitting in the wind right now, but I feel like I look at my own life. I mean, I might think that things are the same now as they were a year ago, but they're not. And
Hmm.
the way they aren't the same as they were 2 weeks ago. There's something different here. There's something
Hmm.
here, and there's something different out there. And it's understanding it and recognizing it and being motivated to be part of the change. And being part of the change doesn't mean supporting change. It might be not supporting change, but not trying to upset the apple cart is to re-steer it. And that's where I won't get political, but I will say this. That's where I'm so disappointed that we had such bad choices in the last few years on a political side. And every person in the world has to recognize that no matter who's out there representing us, most of them want to do the right thing. And we have to hope that that's the way they are. But
We have to hope that, right?
yeah, in the end, there's a lot of really wonderful people that would never run for public office.
Oh gosh, yes.
They don't,
Nobody I know would. Nobody I know would run for public office.
they don't want the little thing they did in sixth grade
Right.
to
The-
become public knowledge. And
exactly. We've
that,
all made mistakes in life. And so that's the problem with the zeitgeist of the
yeah,
universe right now. Yeah. And but some people have intent to do and think it's okay to continue, and some people have remorse and they're like, oops, I screwed up, I
absolutely.
screwed up in my life. I'm like, that was a stupid thing to do, but I didn't try to.
Uh,
I don't wake up in the morning and go, I think I'll just try to hurt this person, or I think I'll just.
Absolutely.
But
No,
some people do, as you know.
yeah,
They're like, I'm going to crush this person today, or I'm going to crush these people. And that's what's scary. And if people are in power, and I'm praying that the people that are in power that look so scary right now, do the right thing, because maybe they will. Maybe they will.
and maybe
I don't know.
more importantly, we all have to activate ourselves
Yeah,
to to seek the betterment of things, and
right.
seek the better
That's
side
right.
of people. Another
Mhm.
thing, my sister and I chatted a long time today, and she says we all have to look at the bright side of things more, because it's so we've been conditioned to look at the dark side and the bad things that are going on. But
Right.
in the Desperado, it is a beautiful world, and whether you like it or not, the universe is unfolding as it should.
That's right. People ask me sometimes because, as you know, I read for people, like counsel people, spiritual, and people say, "Well, what do you think I should be doing?" And the thing is that I often say, if you're doing this, this is what you're supposed to be doing. What you're doing right now is what you're meant to do, no matter what it is.
That's right.
That's right, because that's where we are,
Hmm.
right here. Now, you can change your future. You can make different choices,
Yeah.
and but talk about manifesting. Not everything that we say we're going to manifest, we can manifest it, and I totally believe in manifesting, right? But it never comes out exactly how we wanted to. Like your story, which is great. Like you wanted to be love interest, right? Now you manifested. You got to be in Blue Bloods and got to be in that scene. Total manifestation, but it didn't come out exactly how you wanted it to.
No, it did not. It did
Right.
not. Yeah, yeah.
It's so whenever you manifest, it never comes
Yeah.
exactly right. The
Yeah.
house I want's not going to look exactly like, but it could be darn close.
Hmm.
But
I,
it's
I
it.
I had dinner with an old friend of mine 2 nights ago, and yeah, I'm very fortunate. He's a bit older than me. He's like 15 years older than me, but and I would not say he's a mentor, but he very well could have been had I met him earlier in my life. And he has
Mhm.
nothing to do with this industry. He was in the telecommunications industry, and so we're talking, and he knows a lot about me now.
Mhm.
We've had many deep conversations, but I was talking about a specific element of my life that has brought me some honest to God pain and
Mhm.
struggle. And we all have those things. And
Right.
mine, if an outsider was to look at it, they'd go, "Buck up, come on, this stuff happens." But
Hmm.
when it's you feel it very deeply. And he said
Right.
something to me, and I just went, you were absolutely right. He said, "Well, you know that you did everything you could possibly do. You were the best Rich Henkels, and by the way, you made everything as easy for those other people as you possibly could have, and you
Mhm.
did it out of love, and you did it out of good intent, and you
Mhm.
threw everything you had at it, so you can walk away with your head held high." And I
Mhm.
sat there and listened to it, and I went, "That's what I keep forgetting." That I did it out of love. I did
Right.
it out of full positive intent. I,
Hmm.
I can walk away with my head held high, even if I'm disappointed. And
Hmm.
as you can tell, those things can apply to anything in life: job,
That's right.
family, relationships,
Hmm.
whatever it might be. And this is why you have old friends. Because
That's right.
it reminds you of these basics that, when this call is done, I will think back on that and I'll go, yeah, I really need to, when I when I find myself spiraling in a direction I don't want to go, I need to stop and go, no, 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 no.
Right.
I did it, and everyone who knows me relative to this situation knows I had nothing but the best intent.
Right.
Yeah.
You've always strike me as that kind of guy. So that's a
Well,
really positive message to tell yourself. We talk really inappropriately to ourselves sometimes because we beat ourselves up more than we should. Um, the same. It's really true. I see this all the time. People are just so hard on themselves.
oh, yeah.
Our inner talk about this idea, our subconscious inner talk about what we did wrong, or we have to love ourselves and forgive ourselves, and try to be the best people.
I think I told you this story before, Katie, in a one-on-one conversation that wasn't recorded, but I'm going to remind you of this. Remember, I told you when I went to Australia some 30 years ago, and I had
Yeah.
a conversation with my dad. Did I ever tell
Yes.
you the story? Well,
Yeah.
I'll repeat it because it's worth it. My
Yeah.
dad asked me, "Why are you going to Australia?" Now I was in between jobs at the time, and in my early 30s, and I said, "Well, two reasons. One, I always wanted to go to Australia, and
Yeah.
two, I think I need to find myself, Dad." And blah 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 blah. And of course, I've read the books, Walkabout and all these other books about Australia, and Australia's kind of a crazy place. So, and he looks me straight in the eye. My mom and dad went to like 170 countries in their lives. They
Wow.
traveled the world, and no two people could give me better advice and more caring advice than my parents. My dad looked me straight in the eye and he goes, "Well, I agree. Listen, you really want to go there. You've always wanted to go there. It's a great reason to go there. It's a
Hmm.
great reason to go there." But let me ask you about that second one. You want to find yourself. Let me just offer up this, Rich. And I said, "What?" And he goes, "The best way to find yourself is through other people.
Yeah.
Do something for other people with
Hmm.
that's how you'll find yourself."
That's great advice. That's beautiful advice. Isn't
Yeah,
that the truth? It's so true.
yeah. And that's when I get,
Yeah.
to Santiago. It really
Hmm.
was about the pilgrims speaking, not me. I mean, I went
Right.
there to solve my own issues, but I ended up seeing all these other things. And
Yeah.
uh, and when I'm an actor, the story is the story, and I'm just a part of it. So I
Hmm.
feel like I'm doing something for the writer and the director, and ultimately for the audience. And so I've told that story countless times because my parents walk on water as far as I'm concerned, and that
Yeah, they sound so wonderful. I love that story.
yeah,
Brilliant advice. So
yeah.
true. We don't live in a vacuum. We don't learn in a vacuum.
And if we're
We
always
don't love in a vacuum. We have to bring ourselves as much as we can. But yeah, connection with people, and that's when things get tough, like right now in Los Angeles. Countless stories of how people are helping each other.
yeah,
Countless stories.
I marvel at it. I really do.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and it's what it should be. It was funny because I thought about going out there and spending some time, but I realized all the displaced people
No.
they're in Airbnbs, and they're in, and God bless those companies that are giving up rooms and
Oh
spaces.
my God. Right. Oh,
So to
unbelievable. Right.
go there makes no sense.
No,
But
it doesn't. I
you
was
know,
going to be there. I was going to be there on January 8th
uh huh,
for my birthday on the 10th. I was going to be there for 2 weeks. We are going to do my movie. I had everything set up and I decided not to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
wow, I know,
Yep.
isn't it?
Yep. So but it's going to be okay. It's going to be what it is. And we definitely have work to do to inspire people in what we do. And I could talk to you all day because you have lots of good wisdom for people. So I really appreciate you, Rich. And
No, thank you.
yeah, and thank you for taking the time to be here. I don't want to make it too long, but we'll do it. We'll do another one soon. How's that sound?
That's great. You can always call me. I always like talking to Kitty O'Regan. I
Yeah,
one of my
same,
highlights.
same, 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 same. Well, those of you who are listening, thanks for taking the time, and I hope you have a beautiful day, and we'll talk to you soon. And Rich, we'll talk to you very soon.
I look forward to it. Thanks, Kitty. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.